the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so before we get started, do we call the meeting to order? Did you put 7:01? Is that awesome? Okay. Before we get started, I just wanted to thank all of the trustees and Yvette. Over the past few months, we've had a number of meetings, both on budget and staff issues, and I really appreciate all of you being there. I know you've been doing that in addition to our regular meetings and the Friends and the building, not the building committee, I'm sorry, the development fund committee, and many of you came out to the budget presentation and stayed with us the whole time. So I really appreciate all of your extra effort. So thank you for all of the time you've been given to that. And we have a guest, but she will be here at 7:30. Is that correct? So, okay. We have no appointments, no public hearing. November action items. So let's see. November action items. I have a list of them here. Let's see. The first one is reviewing the job description of the Library Board of Trustees Secretary. I saw that, Karen, you sent us that.
Yeah.
So thank you. That was done. We would like to, number 2, we're going to visit the different Library Board of Trustees, such as Amherst. We're still waiting to hear from them. I understand January was not going to be a good meeting for them. She's going to let us know about February. I also had spoken with one of the trustees about some different boards that have different arrangements as far as, like, were you saying, Janet, that there was like a co-chair, or there was some other arrangement that I was vice chair. So there's a bunch of different options that we can investigate. So that's still ongoing. The reviewing trustee guidelines, I believe that Laura and Janet worked on that.
Yeah, finalized this too.
Janet, we had the Sign Up Genius that all went out and taken care of for the staff holiday breakfast. Yvette, it's sort of an ongoing thing about the issue with Macmillan Electronic Publishing. There was a concern about travel meetings and program expenses. Did that get resolved, or we're still? Okay. That's an ongoing concern, or was it?
There was a discrepancy between, was it October or September?
I think it was October. Yep, and it was find out why travel meetings and program expenses didn't coincide between the general ledger and the invoice manifest. So it must have been October. Maybe it was September, because these are November's action items. So right. Review and send out November 11th and 12th budget meeting minutes. Karen did that. We have that. The chair and secretary will meet to check the format of the LBOT manual. I actually sent Karen the link, but I think with everything else that's been going on, we have not had a chance to get to that. So that's on me. That's my fault that we have it. Okay. So we'll see about getting that for February. And the treasurer will set up a new account for the Barry Quimby Memorial Fund. Done.
Which is done.
So a few things still outstanding, but for the most part, a lot has been accomplished in the last few months. So great. All right, I will just make a note of the things that we're still going to work on. Any comments, concerns, suggestions? Okay. Yvette, the RFP draft, any update or news on that? Okay. No news. Moving on to new business. There was, are there any policies to be dealt with? Any new policies?
I sent out a policy about photography, filming, and videography policy.
Okay.
I couldn't find the policy.
It's new.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't.
Like, was
email
there
it
an
out, you said?
attachment? Oh,
Yeah, it wasn't attached. Okay, good. It wasn't just me.
mine's on.
Okay, I mean, there was a lot of attachments.
There were a
There
lot
were
of
a lot of
attachments. So, okay.
Is somebody's
So that can
mic
be-
not
Yeah,
on?
Mine's on.
Yvette, your mic.
Turn your mic
Oh.
Hello. There were a lot of attachments in this packet, I know. So if you didn't get it, or I forgot to attach it or something, then we can just hold it for next time.
Yeah, can we do that? Is there anything pressing that you need? Or is it just sort of up for review?
This is a new policy, and it's in response to something called a First Amendment audit there's some concern in libraries in the United States. I don't know if this is happening in New Hampshire, but I sent you a link to an article about it,
Oh, yeah.
where there's a loosely organized social media campaign to audit government spaces and agencies for alleged First Amendment violations, and they've begun to target libraries. These individuals and groups undertaking these self-described First Amendment audits claim a right to film in any space accessible to the public, arguing that they're entitled to do so as taxpayers and citizen journalists. So that's what that's about.
Okay.
You can read
So-
about it.
Could you send us a copy just in case
Sure.
it wasn't in the attachments, and we will look at that and review it and put that on our agenda for February. Okay. Additions to the museum passes. Yvette set us some things on the Silver Knights.
Okay. So we were approached, the library was approached by a representative from the Nashua Silver Knights. This is a baseball team. You will recognize this logo. They have a program where you can, it would work like the museum passes. And Jen Green and I reviewed this, and we recommend package 3. So this would have been in your packets for the December meeting. Package 3 we feel is the best value for our money. It's one reservation that will admit 2 people. So you could look at the date of a game, home game, and then reserve the pass, the tickets, the same way you would reserve a museum pass. And then each pass admits 2 individuals for free admission. Single-use passes don't have to be returned to the library, and they can only be for home games at Holman Stadium.
Is that the cost on the other document you sent had listed different packages with the cost? So would it be the same cost as?
$560. The library would pay $560 for the season. Well, Boston, I mean, we're paying $700, $600 for a lot of other passes. So the bonus for this is 4 reserve box season tickets that are donated by the Knights. And then we can also have a table there on the concourse at 3 home games. So if the Friends wanted to put up a table, if staff wanted to put up a table promoting the library, I don't think there's a hindrance to Merrimack Library promoting in Nashua. I think when libraries promote their own library, it just signals what a library or what libraries in southern New Hampshire are doing.
And there's also special nights where there would be teams from Merrimack perhaps going, or
Sure.
scouts from Merrimack that go. So there are like special events where there would be guaranteed people from Merrimack there as well.
Do you want to discuss this?
I was going to say,
more?
are there questions, concerns? Laura, you think that's too much?
It's $560 for 4 passes, which is what, a game a week?
For the season,
And the season is June, July,
April.
half of August?
April.
April, May, June, July, August. So that's once a week. So these would be available once a week,
That's more often than once a week.
It's when they have a game.
whenever they have, for any game. Oh, okay.
Home game.
Home
This
game.
is for any home game, okay. So that's April through, I didn't realize they started that early. April through the middle of August, because the college kids go back to school. So it's about 4 months, 3 or 4 months. I guess it's, based on that, it's probably reasonable.
Well, I mean, I think this is a nice opportunity to expand our offerings to people who don't like museums.
Yeah,
This is a whole different crowd.
that's,
I don't go to baseball. I mean, it's,
yeah.
there.
I know
we're-
people that go often.
Well, we're always trying to
Yeah.
attract
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
other demographics that we aren't reaching anymore, and this,
it's a good way to do it.
well, this would do it,
Yeah.
you know? So-
And a pass is 4 tickets as opposed to,
I guess I'm actually confused at that. It says 4 reserved box season tickets, and then it says 4 reserved box season tickets donated by Silver Knights. So are there actually 8 tickets?
I believe so. I mean, it's, we can set it up how we want it. We can set it up through, like Library Insight. You know, 4 possible patron reservations for 2 people each pass. So that's a lot of, it's more people than,
Mm-hmm.
It's 4 altogether, so there's essentially 4 free tickets per game. 8.
Each pass is 2 tickets.
Oh,
Yeah, so it says our
Okay.
set, 2 passes per person per day. So one person could reserve 4 tickets in theory.
we
And
can
then we could
set
override it too, it
Well,
says. So we can do.
We can set it up in a different way, because what if I'm one person and I want one, I
Mhm.
mean,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
I have
Mm-hmm.
an odd number of people in my
Yep.
party. I mean,
There's some flexibility in how you would administer
there's
it.
flexibility, but the question is there interest?
Mhm.
Because museum passes are paid for by the board.
I agree. I think like
Yeah,
trying
well-
it, and that, after a year we can see.
Sure.
It just, somehow we would need to promote it, just to
Mhm.
let people know it exists.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is different. It will be a different demographic, which is what, trying to do.
Summer reading program. We could see about putting a bookmark at the MYA
Oh, yeah.
concession stand. I mean, there's
I
lots
mean,
of different things we
Yeah.
could
The staff
try.
will handle,
So, yeah,
the staff can handle publicity. I'm not
right.
concerned about that.
yeah.
Yep.
No.
I'm fine.
Okay.
Should we,
Is there a,
well,
okay.
I move that we purchase the package 3 Silver Knight tickets as, well, they're not really museum passes, as passes for this upcoming season in this year, 2020. Did I leave something out?
At a cost of $560, is that correct?
At the cost of
$560?
$560, yes,
Okay.
which includes 4 passes equaling 8 people.
Okay. Do we have a second? Would anyone like to second?
second.
Anna
I'll second.
seconds, okay. Okay, all in favor? Great,
Thank you.
thank you. That's great to try something new.
Actually, I just want to pass something to Yvette.
Sure.
I had received information from the Battleship Cove about library passes, so.
Okay.
And how much it was, and,
In Portsmouth?
no, it's in Fall
In
River.
Massachusetts.
Fall River, Massachusetts?
The
And-
Amherst, one of the Amherst grades goes there and stays overnight.
Yep.
I think it's a
Big
7th
scout
grade.
thing too, a
Yeah.
lot of scouts go. Okay,
I'll talk to the staff.
okay, great. The yearly calendar, so Yvette found something that the New Hampshire Library Association Board was doing, and she included a template in our packet as something we might want to do. It was just a nicely formatted grid that would address some of the concerns about knowing what was going to happen as the year rolled along, where we could have the different committees and different things per month. I think that was just for you to look at and for possibly consider filling in and having us add that to the trustee manual. So you liked that, Karen? You thought that was?
I liked it better than just a list.
Yeah,
Find it.
yeah. It was a nice grid, and yep.
It was at the very end of the contacts.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I know that we have a lot to do, including many minutes to approve. So I wonder if
Gone.
Um,
It does all like the major
If-
Yeah, oh, I
committees
saw
in
it.
each.
I just
okay.
couldn't
yeah,
find
if
it.
people would just give that some thought and see if that's something we would like to do, because we could have a template created very easily that we could then even just, people could pencil in the things that they thought we should do and we could come up with it because we don't want to do the whole Google Docs thing because we've had concerns about that. So just for you to look at that, and if we could maybe bring that back in February unless someone has a pressing concern or question about that now. No? Okay.
Excuse me, my thought about the whole thing in general was, we know pretty typical things happen in pretty set ways, and I sometimes feel like, even though we know stuff's coming, it still feels like it
Yes.
comes upon us and we're like, oh yeah, we gotta do the whatever, so.
And I think this was really something you had brought up like a couple of meetings ago, or maybe sent an email to me, and then Yvette was like, oh, I have this thing. So
Yeah,
we
so-
thought it would be a good way. You could even have it say, for instance, June, this happens, prep for this in May. So when you look at the May column,
Yeah.
it's
And
giving
I-
us some indicators. So we can really make it to suit our needs, but the format just seemed really good. So if you could give it some thought and maybe see how you would envision it working for the trustees. Okay. Q2 statistics. So we have the quarter 2 statistics here. Anything you wanted to point out to us, Yvette? What was of concern or?
Nope.
My only question was, when we were talking about presenting statistics, you were saying that maybe they would come in a different form, like a grid or something, and this seemed like the old way of presenting the statistics.
Okay. I mean, this is what department heads gave me,
Okay.
so I can
mean,
go back
I
to
don't know,
them.
maybe I'm mistaken, but I just seem to remember.
I think there was a request to have a couple things added to it, but I don't know
Well, for the,
that.
for
Yeah, I
the
don't know that-
annual, not for, I don't
Right.
think that
Not
was
for
quarterly, I think that was
Right.
annual.
But I don't remember us saying to change that, but that doesn't mean someone didn't say that.
Well, if someone comes across a reminder of what we were, if there was a change that was wanted, but looks good.
Under,
And
under
we're talking
customer,
about-
oh,
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
under customers,
Mm-hmm,
under December,
mm-hmm.
am I reading this correctly? 2,534 people were deleted?
I would have to go back to circulation and ask them.
I wonder if that was
Wasn't
part of
that-
the batch deletes that we had discussed,
we
that were gonna meet
did.
certain parameters.
When Jen was still here, we did, and we do
Mhm.
a purge in the summer.
Okay.
So if that was, I do remember she was here talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
And we voted on something
Probably what-
to
It could have been done the first
waive
week in
some
December, right? So it could have been,
fees.
Yeah, but that would,
Bulk.
that was still during the
Can't
summer.
ask
Okay.
her, but
Ask her.
we can go
Okay.
back and look at minutes. But yeah, she was here talking about cleaning up the database.
Yeah, so that's what this is reflecting.
That's
you
probably
think?
it.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
because December is quite a bit less than October and November. So I'll bet you that's it.
Any other, oh, go ahead.
I ran across this again, that you presented as an annual
Mhm.
representation. And it caught my eye again, and I started reading about it again, and I just really think that it is just, I know it was on display for a while.
Not, it will be now that it was included in the town report,
Okay,
so.
I just want to say again, I really think that this is so interesting. If you start looking at it, you just go, oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
The different kinds of social media followers that
Mhm.
are library people and so on. Just very interesting, so I encourage that.
Okay, thanks.
That's great. Okay. This was not under new business, but I would like to add, if we could have a brief discussion about the letter that I sent to you on the New Hampshire House Bill 1615 that is coming up for a vote tomorrow. being new to this, I wasn't sure how you normally handle it when there's a concern and the trustees would like to express their opinion about something. I certainly didn't want to send a letter or reach out to the representatives without running everything by the trustees and seeing if we were all in agreement. I just didn't know what perhaps some of the trustees could speak to how you would normally reach out to the representatives, if you would have a vote on how that would be done, or what the process would be if there was a legislative concern that we needed to address. So,
I read the letter, I thought it was a good letter. It
I
was
did.
to the
I like the
point
letter
to
too.
saying, didn't get too wordy, so I thought it was a good letter.
okay.
I think we would send it to our representative, wouldn't we?
Well, I have a list of the different representatives, so I was just going to send it across the board to all of them so that they were all aware. I was going
Yeah.
to send it to them in an email, but I wanted to get your approval so that, if something was coming from the trustees, I certainly would have my name on it, but it would be sent with all of us in agreement that this particular bill that would require criminal background checks for people brought into the library who may interact with minors, it's redundant. It's an unnecessary regulation. We already have all of our employees go through background checks. It would be cost prohibitive. It would certainly
Yeah.
impact our ability to be responsive to the community.
Not necessary.
Yeah, it's an unnecessary regulation, so that is something we're concerned
Yes.
about. So I guess I would ask if someone would be willing to make a motion if we would like to approve that this letter be sent, because I certainly want to make sure that everybody is on board. But I, again, don't know what the process is for how you normally handle things like this.
And
Or
I-
has it
I
not
don't-
been done
I
before?
haven't done it.
Okay.
So we would approve it and it can be sent.
Okay.
I move that we accept the letter written by our chair on House Bill, which one is it? 1615? 1615, 1615, I think it says, to the appropriate state representatives regarding the House bill on criminal background checks for children, for staff working with children,
Volunteers.
volunteers
Volunteers.
working with children, I'm sorry.
A second.
Yvette, did you have any concerns or comments? I know I sent it to
No,
you.
I
and
thought
you-
it was well-written, too.
Okay, so all in favor? We'll just say, great, I will send that out this evening to all of the representatives.
In,
There it is.
in terms of a precedent for that, I had the question of, when I read what the NHLTA had put out, it sounded like the more people that commented on it and showed different examples, not just cookie cutter examples that they gave, I was like, that's where I got confused. Like, should I, as a citizen or as a trustee on my own? So I'm glad that you raised the issue, and it did seem to make more sense to have it as a body,
Mhm,
unless other people thought otherwise.
mhm. No, I'm glad you brought
That we all
up.
knew
Yeah.
what the body was saying, the whole board.
Right, and that was my concern about just me sending something that, when
Mhm.
you speak as a trustee, you're actually, people, whether it's true or not, you're speaking for the board, so you want to
Right.
make sure that the board is on board before we send it, so,
The only
okay.
comment I have in the letter is where you say your name and your chair is to put Merrimack Library Board of Trustees, not
That's
just Board
great.
of,
Yep,
because that could be any board.
yep. I will do that.
Even though letterhead may have it on there, I still think
Yep.
you should sign it Merrimack Library Board.
And does anyone think the rest of the names should be on there? Just
What I
as-
was
don't think
thinking was
it's
that I
necessary.
could just send an email to them saying that at our meeting tonight, we discussed this and voted, as a body to send this to you. Attached, please find this letter, and I will just send the
Yeah,
letter
I
to
don't
them
think
so that
it's-
they know. And
yeah.
then they'll have my contact information if they have
Yeah.
additional questions,
Okay.
which I would certainly let you know about if there was any feedback that needed to be addressed by the trustees. So, okay, thank you very much. All right, moving on to the operating budget. We have both November 2019 and December 2019 general ledger and invoice manifest on here. So did everybody have a chance to take a look at that? Are there any concerns or? Janet, any concerns?
Nope.
Okay. Anyone else have anything
No.
that they're concerned about? Okay. Then I think if that's okay with everyone, we'll move on to the director's report.
I'm trying to clean off my computer and it's on the document.
I'm not going to bother you with the December report. I think I highlighted it last month. The library received a donation of $400 from Heather McDonald and William Dallas. Can vote to accept that.
I vote to accept the donation from Heather McDonald and William Dallas for $400.
Second.
Was it 400? $400, wonderful, very generous.
Do we need to vote?
Yes, all in favor? Thank you very much.
I don't know if you have anything that jumped out at you in the report. We already talked about the House bills, which I put at the back.
What's gonna happen with this compressor panel thing? So you're having this other company put in a different panel?
Mm-hmm. We're fine. It's fixed.
Oh, it's done. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. What's the
Any other concerns or questions for Yvette? I will say that Yvette wrote a lovely, what would it be called, annual report for
It's the
the
narrative.
narrative,
Yeah.
annual report for the town. It's wonderful. It really addresses a lot of great things that the library is doing. It was really well done. So thank you, Yvette,
You're
for
welcome.
writing that, and we appreciate that. Okay, treasurer's report.
Can I jump back for 1 second?
Of course.
So the bill about the public hearing requirement, that's coming up, right?
That's
For
the letter she just
That's tomorrow.
brought to you.
No, this is the one where,
Oh, for the public hearing of
this
employment.
is a
which-
public
It's
hearing
on
for an
the same-
employee.
Has to be more than 6 months.
It's the same day.
So did we have any thoughts about that? Then do we need to comment on that?
Actually, I think it's a good idea.
It seemed to me that that's
That's-
a general
it's
consensus
something
was
that a library board of trustees in another town brought. That's a bill that's, was crafted by a trustee. So you and I are in opposition. The librarians are in opposition with this bill because it infringes on our rights, our employee rights. Right now, you have to have a public hearing if you terminate an employee, regardless of how long they've been on the job. Library employees have the right to a public hearing to, disagree with that ruling by a board. My question would be, what do you have to hide? Why not have a public hearing? If we went through, I'll say we, because I've been involved in discipline issues, if some kind of discipline steps have been taken appropriately, there should be no problem with having a public hearing. My question would be, well, if you didn't follow those procedures, maybe you don't want to have a public hearing, but that's a problem in one specific town. I don't think, I don't understand why another town would want to impose their rules on Merrimack, because we would be very careful
Right.
to follow the correct procedures. So,
I just wondered what was the rationale behind it? Like,
Don't
does
know.
it save them money, or it does seem, I don't know, I don't think I'd want to have those rights restricted either. And I don't think it would be in the staff person's best interest or the board's best interest not to have the transparency of.
well, that's what I
That's just what I think. I don't want to speak for the board, but seemed like you would want to have as much communication as possible. It would be in everyone's best interest. So I don't know if we need to make a comment or not, but like to be in support of other libraries who might not agree with this.
I can't
Yeah, so.
speak
Okay.
to that because we're on opposite
Yeah,
sides of the,
okay.
you know.
I'm sorry, I really have not given that one as much attention or thought as I
It's
gave
getting,
the other one.
it's getting, I mean,
so-
the other one is more controversial,
Mhm.
and is getting a lot more attention than
Yeah,
this one.
And I guess this
So-
one is not saying you have to abide, right? It's that you don't have to. We could still choose to. Right?
I don't know.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
I think the goal is to not do it.
Mm-hmm. The goal of the bill. That was
Yeah.
the intention. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't feel like I know enough about that to speak to it one way or another. I didn't read it. Does anybody else have any?
Read it. I just,
It's-
I
It's
didn't.
brief.
Well, the only other thing that was mentioned somewhere is that your town may have
Right.
procedure for
Yes.
this, and that we
Yes.
have often tried
And
to
we
stay
would-
in line with
Of
the
course,
town.
of course. That would
So
be our.
it just
yes.
didn't make sense to me to favor this for a variety of reasons. So hopefully.
Well, would you like us to make a statement about that? Or is you,
Well, I feel like this is difficult because at this point it's being discussed tomorrow.
But
as
so
near
is
as I
the, I mean,
can
the other one
tell.
is too.
So, if we want to, yes. I don't know if it would
You're
have to
talking
be
about the
something brief.
probationary period.
Yeah. Well,
can you tell me the number of that bill, please?
it's Bill 1452. This bill provides that the public hearing requirement prior to discharging a public library employee shall only be required for those employed for more than 6 months. Which is my opinion that I think you should afford it to everyone.
Well, I don't, why 6 months?
Yeah, like, I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, if you've done all your steps, then you shouldn't be in that position.
Thoughts
I don't see the need for it.
for the law?
Yeah.
Yeah, that it seems like, again, another unnecessary regulation, and the state
just
trying to
redundant.
tell us locally, and we would choose to be transparent and fall in line with our town.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know that we need to make a statement about it unless there's strong feelings one way or the other.
well, I mean, I don't know how strong they are, but we certainly, if there's something that could affect us, and Janice was concerned, I mean, we could certainly consider adding on to this, or even in the email, just addressing that,
Right.
we also discussed this, and we would, perhaps find it an unnecessary regulation, that we would try to be transparent and fall in line with our town. This seems like another unnecessary regulation. I don't know what your thoughts are. Laura, you seem like you're in favor of it.
I don't know, I don't have enough information really to understand what the town policy is.
Mhm.
I just don't feel prepared to make a statement.
Okay.
personally.
Okay. All right, move along. Let's see. Next. Acceptance of minutes. This is going to be a while. So I tried to list every single thing that I thought we needed to accept. If I am wrong or miss something, please let me know. I begin with November 11th. Does that sound right to you people?
Can I do the treasurer's
I'm
report?
sorry, we've got ahead of ourselves. Okay, because we jumped back. We said treasurer's report and then, sorry, Janet.
It's only a couple numbers.
Okay,
I'm only doing December.
okay.
So, the beginning balance for fines was $12,290.84.
Say that one more time? Yep,
$12,290.84.
okay.
And then the ending balance was $12,049. 62 cents. And then special, beginning balance was 29,971 8 cents.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. 29,971
Yep.
8 cents.
8 cents?
Yep.
And the ending?
And the ending was 29,247 and 63 cents.
Got it.
I did send out also the profit and loss by class.
Mhm.
I wanted just to highlight to Yvette, there's over just under $8,000 for your DCU money.
Okay. Under 8.
Yeah, it's like 7811. And then, yeah.
They were
We were talking about that today in department head, so thank you.
Fabulous. Yep. Great.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry that we bounced
It's
ahead
okay.
of there.
It's
I
only a
got
couple.
distracted. Okay.
Can I
thank you.
ask a quick question about budgets versus actuals?
Yep.
Just the percent of budget column, that is to tell us what percent of the budget's been used or is left.
Hold on. Let me.
Sorry.
You're all right. I just closed it. Okay, you're looking at percent of budget
Yeah.
for, okay. So in the income side, it's how much of the income has come in. So it's a percent of the total.
Okay. So if the budget is 12,000, well, that doesn't have a
Well, that one,
percent.
that
That's
one was just, that was a,
all right. That's
transfer of
oh,
money.
yeah. So the one that says a copier,
Copier. So-
3,400 is the budget.
Right?
Over budget is
That's how much, okay, so what we received so far to date is the 1783.
Okay.
67. We anticipated somewhere around 3,400.
okay.
What hasn't come in yet, and hopefully would be that 1633.
Okay.
And so, to date, we are at 52.46%. And this is actually through December, so it's literally halfway. So anything that's like right around 50%, it's actually pretty good. So specifically for copier, we're on target.
So, not being a mathematician, can we jump down to expenses? F supplies, actual 700.
Yep.
Budgeted $1.
Right.
Um,
This was where Aunt Flo went.
Right, but I was like 70,000%.
Right,
That
that's-
threw me.
It's just moving the decimal.
Okay.
Um,
All right. I was like, wow. Because I don't understand
right,
numbers.
Because we didn't budget for it
Okay.
specifically in that line item, we are over budget.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
But that's all.
Just trying to educate myself a little at a
It's not
time.
a problem. Actually, since you brought the budget up, the only one that stuck out to me was the seasonal decor, because we had budgeted 400 and we're over that to date. So there was a lot through the holidays that came through. But everything else was pretty much on target. So,
Yeah, there were two, right? Two sets of monies.
well, there's fines and special. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, well, there were two different lines. one was a seasonal decor, X $100, and another one was $125.97.
Oh, yeah, you're looking at,
Looking at something else.
special, you're looking at
Okay.
the special details.
And I'm assuming that that was like the stuff that's outside the
Yeah,
front
it's all
door
the
and
front
stuff
stuff,
that's
yep.
hanging around the library for decorations.
I don't know if it's the stuff that's inside.
I know some of our lit garlands inside died.
Oh.
And I think our tree also died. So, I'm not sure if she put that as seasonal.
Okay.
It would make sense because inside, outside, it's still seasonal.
Oh, I think the difference too was the money. One of the monies was paid with one type of money, and the other one was paid by a Sync B Amazon. I'm thinking that was just a different card.
No, that's just where you buy it from.
All right.
That's our Amazon account.
Okay.
So, I mean, are you concerned about that we're spending
No.
too much, or want to adjust it? Because I know when I saw the one with the plaid boots that's out now, I was like, oh my God, where can I get those adorable boots? And they were made. That's an old pair of boots that Sheila brought in, and then Jen Stover covered it in fabric and made them
Oh,
look
that's
like
cool.
real boots. So there's a lot of very creative DIY going on.
No, I don't know what is specifically bought. All I see is seasonal decor. So, I guess over through December, or even at the end of November, December, I guess it's more like December because of this. It's pretty much just been on target, and then all of a sudden there was just like, literally just December was half of it. So I was
I
just
can-
surprised.
you know, we
but
can
it might
put
have
more-
been the tree. So
That's probably, I mean, I don't want to say yes or no what it is because I'd have to go back and look at the detail, but we can always put more detail because you can itemize,
Yeah.
We spent this much here and this much there, and this is what the thing is, and,
Yeah.
it's fine.
I'm good.
Great. Any other questions or comments on the treasurer's report? No. Okay, minutes. So, as I started to say, I started with November 11th. If somebody has something, okay. So, our first set of minutes that we need to approve would be for November 11th.
And November 12th?
Well, we're going to start with November 11th. So,
They were like right.
well, there were, but each one is a separate one, though,
Okay.
right? So,
Yep.
yep.
I had no problem with 11.
Any concerns or comments or questions for November 11th? Okay, I make a motion that we accept the minutes for November 11th.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. All in favor? 5-0. All right, next I have November 12th, which was our budget meeting.
Okay, I have a question, or I have a comment about this.
Okay.
This essentially was a non-public meeting. And it doesn't say that at the beginning.
So do we just need to add non-public into
Like into the title.
the title? Sure. Because we did go into non-public immediately after calling the meeting
Yeah.
to order. So could we just add non-public onto November 12th? Just at the top?
Yeah.
Okay.
There it is.
Yeah, I think Janet would just like it on the title.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other concerns or? Okay. How about I make a motion with that correction that we accept the November 12th minutes?
I'll second.
Janet seconds. All in favor? Great. Okay, we'll stop and welcome our guest for the evening. Hi, I want to make sure that we pronounce your name correctly. So I know it's Anastasia Corman O'Reilly. Thank you. It didn't come through on my thing. So Anastasia Corman O'Reilly, thank you for coming and for all the work that you've done for the library. We really appreciate it.
And would you introduce your guest?
Yes.
Would you introduce your guest that you brought?
And we apologize for being late.
No need, no need.
Music went a little longer and then we couldn't get.
Totally fine. No worries. No worries. We're just glad that you could be here. So thank you.
Should I just start talking?
Yeah, turn on your mic. So
All right. So I did my self-reward project to put instruments into circulation at the library. And I had that idea because one time at the Barnstead Library I saw that they had a ukulele. And I thought that was really cool that you could just check out a ukulele from the library. And so I wanted to expand that to our library because I want to be able to share, because I'm a total music nerd, so I wanted everyone else to be able to experience all the wonderful things that music can bring, and do so by learning an instrument. So I started by talking to many music places and seeing if they'd be interested in donating instruments to the library. But I didn't really receive a lot of instruments. However, I'm still working on getting more. And once I have more, they're going to continue to be going in circulation, and also books so that people could learn the instruments. And I don't know what else I was going to say. So I currently have a roll-up piano thingy-majig that's like a keyboard but in roll-up, I guess. Yeah. And a violin. And I'm working on getting a ukulele from Music and Arts. They said they'd probably be able to donate one, so we're still working on that.
So I can update you, Anastasia, about a couple of other instruments that have come in since this started. We had an electric guitar with an amplifier and headphones donated. And then we also had an acoustic 3/4 size guitar purchased and donated. And then we did receive the $100 from the Merrimack Lions that they promised to you.
That's fantastic.
it's really wonderful. You've just started something, right?
Yeah.
Just by beginning it, more people are going to see that's an option and donate it, and the collection is just going to grow from what you've begun. So
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
We also received several antique instruments that I'm having assessed. We had several antique instruments and an antique amplifier which has fuses in it. So it's
Wow.
I am not familiar with these instruments, but when I've had people who actually are more familiar with them, they got very excited. And you know, the amplifier with the fuses, for example, has a really high quality, and it would be very rare to have an opportunity to use it. So that is more something like a special collection, like a historic item that I'm thinking about. You know, I still have to wait. I have to hear back from the professionals about, is this reasonable to lend out, or is this something you use in-house? Like our historic collection, you wouldn't necessarily remove from the building. And then there was I'm not sure which instrument it was, but there was a stringed instrument that was donated with a pack of strings that were unopened. And the pack of strings are also rare and historic, and I was advised, do not open this package. So I'm not sure what to do about that either. But I'm waiting to hear back from one of the music stores that have staff who, are really more familiar with the importance of some of these instruments. I think it would be really interesting if the library had historic instruments. But that's just, it's, people are excited, and we have, definitely some that are easier to loan, So thank you so much for thinking of us and all of your work. I know a silver award is a lot of hours. How many hours did you put in? Probably more than the required, but what's the required?
The required was 50 hours. And I think I had a little more than that,
Yeah.
but I don't remember what.
And then you had to write up your project and submit it to the council. So what was that like?
Well, I had to do an introduction writing, so a lot of the questions were pretty similar. So I was able to take some aspects of my answers from the introduction and edit them slightly so that I could work them properly for the summary of my project, which was good because I had to do less explaining of my project.
Yeah. And you had also contacted other libraries in the state
Yes.
who have circulating instrument collections.
Yeah, it was interesting that there were actually a lot of libraries that have circulating instruments.
That's wonderful.
Mm.
Again, really, our gratitude on all your hard work, and congratulations, and thank you for doing this for the community. It's
So where's
really
the-
wonderful.
Where's the pin?
Oh, it's still at the council
Oh.
because what did I have? A concert? Yeah, I had a concert
Okay.
for the ceremony, so I went to my concert instead of getting my silver award in the ceremony.
Well, you're a music lover,
Yeah,
right?
she has
That's
multiple-
your passion.
multiple
That's what it
tasks
is.
to do.
So that's wonderful.
Thanks.
That's wonderful.
Well,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's hard. That's
Okay.
wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for
thank you.
all that you did and for sharing it with us and for coming down and talking about it. It's wonderful.
If someone has an instrument to donate, do they contact you or do they contact the library?
at this point, they can contact the library.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you kickstarted it, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ukulele. I will definitely borrow that if we get a ukulele. I'm
Yeah.
inspired. Thank you, Anastasia. Wonderful. Yes, I feel she did. That's amazing. The Library of Things is a wonderful thing. And I apologize, my printer did not print out, so her name was last name was a jumble. So that
Oh,
was
okay.
like so. Yes, we are really lucky to have so many people who are donating such wonderful things. And this was an excellent project, and really exciting to see where it goes.
Yeah,
what we
and I'll just add that Anastasia and her brother have been coming to the library since they were much younger,
Mm-hmm.
coming to story times and book groups and all the events in the youth services department. So she's really
Wonderful.
grown up in the library.
It's great. And she's
It's
sharing her
exciting.
passion with music with the community now, and
Yeah.
people can try that. So
Mhm.
we really appreciate that. Excellent. Okay. Moving on to back to our minutes. We just approved November 19th, or I'm sorry, November 12th with the change.
Yes.
We have November 19th. November 19th. Were there any changes to that? That was what I got the November action items from. Okay, I make a motion, we accept the November 19th minutes.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Great. Okay, I'm checking them off. That was November 19th, public. there is a non-public, November 19th also. November 19th, non-public. Any concerns? Questions? Okay, I make a motion, we accept the November 19th non-public minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Great. Okay, I also have December 19th. I wrote that down, now I'm trying to find my copy of December 19th. Does somebody have December 19th in front of them?
Non-public?
Non-public, yes. Was that the
November
conference?
19th or December 19th?
We just
was a
voted on
December
December,
19th.
November.
November 19th,
right.
but there was a December 19th
Yeah,
also.
there was a
Yep,
December
December
19th
19th,
too.
non-public.
Yep.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
Any questions or comments or concerns for that one?
No.
Okay. So there's a lot of them. Okay. All right. I'll make a motion. We accept the December 19th, the non-public minutes.
I'll second.
That's all right.
Okay.
Do you, yeah,
Okay.
okay.
I made a motion. Janet seconded it. All in favor? Okay. December 23rd, public meeting minutes. This was our quicker meeting after
Oh, right.
the breakfast. So any questions, comments, or concerns? Okay. I make a motion, we accept the December 23rd minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
I'm going to abstain since I was not there.
Okay, so 401. We also have non-public session meeting minutes from December 23rd. Okay, are there any questions or comments or concerns? Okay, I make a motion, we accept the December 23rd non-public meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Janet, we're on a roll.
I know.
Janet seconds. All in favor? Janice?
And I'll abstain
And
since I
we'll
wasn't
abstain again,
there.
so it's 401. Okay, that was all I had for 2019. And then I had our January 13th non-public session meeting minutes, just the other day. Any concerns? Comments?
Well done.
Okay,
First time doing that.
these are the ones I just sent out from our Monday
yeah.
meeting.
These
Yeah,
are
from the
ones that-
13th.
I had
Yep.
issues with those.
Okay, so would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll
since
make
I-
a motion to accept whatever that date
The
was.
January 13th non-public session meeting minutes, okay?
That one.
Sure, I'll second it. Okay, all in favor?
I'll abstain, I wasn't there.
Okay, so 401 for that. Did I miss any minutes? I tried to go back through and make a note of all the ones I thought that we still needed to approve, and that was what I came up with. So,
I think that's pretty good.
okay. Thank you. I'll
I'll
take,
let you
I'll
know if
take
anything-
pretty good, okay? We had a lot of paper coming into this, a lot of
We did.
documents to cover. Okay, and thank you for getting those all out to us, Karen. That was a lot of minutes. Okay. All right, committee updates. There's nothing for the Building Exploratory Committee. We're still looking at the RFP draft. Friends of the Merrimack Public Library. Anything for the Friends?
The book sale is coming up this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Book
I
sale.
never
this
remember
weekend.
the exact order of that. Is there a
I'm
the
sorry.
exact order of those dates?
So Friday is the Friends pre-sale starting at 5:15. If you're a paid member of the Friends, then you can come preview the books on Friday from 5:15 to 6:30. The Saturday sale runs 9 to 1, and all of the prices are anywhere from 25 cents to $1 or
Mhm.
specially marked. Sunday, the sale is 1 to 3, and it's a bag. So you fill a bag, and we will measure it when you pay for it, and it's anywhere from $3 to $5 a bag, or box, or whatever the containment that you have.
And the only other thing I wanted to report, I don't have a clear exact number for the money from the turkey shoot. I know they were working on finalizing that.
Yeah.
So, when we get that, we will get that out to everyone, but felt that it was a successful turkey shoot
Yeah. And the Friends meet on Monday.
Monday.
It was a great event. So we should just thank all the volunteers and staff who put so much effort into that. It was really fun, a great community event. So we really appreciate it, not just how it benefits the library, but just to provide something fun like that for the community is really great. So thank you. The Merrimack Public Library Development Fund Committee met this week. Laura, did you want to say anything about that, the development fund?
I'm drawing a blank.
Okay. All right.
Why don't you jump in?
All right. Well, they met on Monday. We met on Monday and just discussed sort of where things are financially with the development fund, some conversation about the bricks. I think they're going to look into maybe getting some more bricks engraved. Is that correct? And the next meeting is in April, and they're really waiting for where we want to go moving forward. So that's sort of where we're at. So some things will start to happen once we get more direction with our RFP. So. And again, another wonderful group of volunteers who are giving their time to the library. Town Center Committee.
We haven't met for some time, and we're not going to be meeting again until early February. But things are somewhat unchanged. There's several projects that the state has kind of reallocated the money to other directions. And so sidewalks and safer pedestrian areas are being written up, but not moving along as yet. Everything is extremely slow.
Okay.
So.
Great. Okay, the Library Board of Trustee committees. Anything from personnel?
Karen and I are planning to get together and just check in.
Okay.
And we just have to get our dates coordinated.
Building and maintenance, nothing has been going on for us. Finance committee.
You want me to talk? Yep. We have the guidelines for the financial management of the library. A couple of edits were made to that. One was that I added to the title of the document trustee, since this is a trustee document, figured that should be on there. Under the town budgeted related funds on page 2, line items 5 and 6, Janet and I combined into one statement. We thought there was some redundancy there. And then there were just a couple of minor edits, like in the beginning of the document, under the second note, it was still called the Investment Committee. That was changed to the Finance Committee since we changed the name. And under library hires, I'm sorry. No, there was nothing there. I apologize. That was, I think those were the only changes we made. So those were just some edited changes, basically. Right? Any
This was
thoughts
something
or
we had
comments?
looked at before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just had.
We were just tweaking it, right?
We needed a couple of tweaks, and those were the tweaks. There was nothing changed about any of the content, except those 2 lines that were combined. So what we have to do now is accept this document as reviewed and approved with these minor changes.
I make a motion, we accept the trustee guidelines for management of library funds.
Second?
Is there any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay, great. Thank you for your hard work and for clarifying things and streamlining it. Appreciate that.
Well, the other document we have is the trustee public gift policy document. Janet and I worked on this. You'll have a copy of that, correct?
Yes.
Basically, the purpose of this is to help guide trustees in distributing gifts to members of the public who have had an affiliation with the library in some capacity, past or present. Just a way to, some guidelines on acknowledging that. Not gonna read through the whole thing, but it's not very long, actually. But it just is a way to describe the amount of money trustees have designated to acknowledge a member of the public, so we can budget, ensures the amount spent on gifts remains consistent. Exactly, and the public for this purpose is defined as a non-library employee.
I had some funny, like, printing things, and I think it's just, like, every time there was an F, I got these little rectangles. So I don't think it was a misspelling. It was just a weird whatever.
I have no explanation for such.
Yeah, and I noticed in another
such an
document, so it just
anomaly, I
must be
don't
in the
know.
translation through the computer. I figured out they were Fs. So I don't think that's something that really needs to be fixed. I think it just showed up in my, my copies. Yeah. And it's probably just,
It looked like on mine when I printed it out.
yeah, there was another document I got, and that's all I got was, but I also got the actual document. It was very strange. But anyways, I don't know if this is just a typo. Page 2, number 5, gifts such as flowers.
Mm-hmm,
I couldn't tell if that was an L or an I.
flowers,
Okay.
wouldn't be flowers.
Well, all I saw was an I, and then I thought I had those other problems, so I just tried to ignore it.
This is great. This addresses a concern that we had when something happens and we want to express concern, sympathy, condolences, and to have a policy outlined which does it is really great.
Puts us all on the same page, is
Mhm.
basically
Yep, we're
what these things
consistent with
really
how we
do.
handle things, so.
Yeah.
Are there any other concerns or comments?
I just have a question, because I'm on the library webpage where we put all the policies, and the library trustees investment policy, the last one I have is from 2015, but I know you must have.
Oh, no, we've updated it.
Yeah, it says
Okay,
on here.
and then the bylaws, the last one I have is
the Trustee
2018.
policies separated from the library.
No, they're just alphabetically, they're listed. But I can, if you want to send me your most recent versions of those, then I can,
You want the investment policy and, because we have 2.
I'll take whatever you want to give me and I can post it.
You're talking
Well,
about
if we
the
look at the
bylaw.
we're talking about
webpage,
the
we
investment
can
policy.
see
Oh,
what's missing, right?
we have reviewed that since
We have,
2015.
yeah.
Sure, but I don't have it, but if
That's
you want to
okay.
send that to me,
Okay.
then I'll change it out. And then
That's the last one.
bylaws is 18, and then I can put this one up too,
Okay.
because it's policy. I don't have to put this because it's procedural.
Right.
The
You're talking about-
guidelines?
you're
Got
talking
that,
about
procedural?
okay, it's procedural, and you're talking about the gifts.
Yes.
Okay, and there's 2 of those.
So we need to approve
Right,
this
there's
one
the stuff.
first.
yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve the trustee public gift policy.
Second,
All in favor?
as is.
All in favor? Great. Thank you so much for documenting this. I think that is just really great. We won't have a question if something arises. We'll know exactly how to handle it. So thank you. With that, we're at reviewing December action items, which I think they're all me. So we need to figure out if we're going to be able to visit the Amherst Library or another library in February or March. Karen and I need to work on the updating of the manual as far as formatting goes. Janet is going to send updated policies to Yvette to up the finance policies. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's 4,
Okay.
the 2 investment policies and
Season
2
gift
gift policies.
Yeah,
I
I
was
also
just-
have a request about the manual, because I know we gave the secretary the responsibility of keeping the index updated.
Yeah.
because as new documents come through,
Mhm.
we're either adding or updating. And I intend to transfer my manual to the next trustee, so I would request, at least by March, an updated index to
Mhm.
make sure I have all the right documents in my manual to pass on
Okay.
to someone else, just to make sure I've got everything right.
Yeah. Okay, we will make sure that happens, so. All right. Next meeting, we'll make sure everybody else has some more action items too, not just.
Oh, no. All this budget stuff.
I know, I'm just kidding. Okay, is there anything else for our public session? No? Okay. Then I am going to make a motion that we move into a non-public session per RSA 91A32A personnel. Do I have a second to move into?
Second.
Okay. And we need to do a roll call vote to go in. So Karen?
Aye.
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 Okay. So we will go into non-public session at, I don't have an accurate clock.
It's
in front of me.
8:12.
8:12. Wonderful.